Successfully done?
Tucker, Kern? Oh, let me get that.
That's all right, I've got it. You can blow it out, though. So, what's the plan?
Well, there's 2 offices, and there's 3 of us, so possibly Sarah and I could share.
I prefer to have an office by myself. Sure.
Sure.
Well, looks like it's you and me.
You know, I really prefer sharing an office with you.
Thank you.
I wouldn't have been able to concentrate on work with Sarah around.
Get out here.
Am I really late?
Forget about the orientation meeting. How about you and me buying some wine and heading down to the Mimeo room and putting a couple of notches in our love lives?
I think you and I better have a little talk.
Talk? Yeah, I talk.
I'm Sarah James. What's your name?
Johnny Danko. That's D-A-N-Co.
Johnny, I'm a graduate of Stanford Law School, and I'm going to be working here as an associate. Now, if you ever speak to me again for any reason other than business, if you fail to show me the respect that I deserve, if you ever again tickle my palm with your finger when we're shaking hands, I'm going to see to it that your butt is hung so high that your imitation silk shirt will look like a flag. That's very clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Please welcome the Honorable Michael Levanas.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Well, my name's Michael Levanas, and I'm a good friend, like many of us, with Michael and Shelley, and I have the distinct honor of being able to MC this wonderful program. I don't know who put that together. First of all, I'd like to thank Jerry, who was on the piano. He'll be with us throughout the program, and you'll be hearing more of his talent as we get through the day. Those videos and those pictures are so fitting because it's almost like Shelley is with us. It's amazing. It's bittersweet. She lived in our lives. She was extraordinary. And to see her on the screen and see those pictures, we all can recall those great memories. So, well, big welcome to everybody to this extraordinary setting. And we're here, of course, to honor our good friend and loved one, Shelley Smith. I do want to acknowledge somebody. This is somebody that many of you know, Clifford Bell. Clifford, are you out there somewhere? Okay.
I'm in the booth.
Okay. Well, hi, Clifford. I got to tell you, I was asked to MC, and Clifford is incredible. He's done such a great job of bringing and you'll see it, many talented people to the stage to help us celebrate Shelley. And I want to thank you for all the hard work you've put in up to today. So today promises to be a wonderful day for all of us. I invite each of you to sit back and relax. Let go of your everyday concerns and worries of your life, and let's wander together through the many highlights of Shelley's life. From her childhood to her breaking on the scene as an internationally known elite supermodel, to her career as an accomplished actress and a recurring celebrity game show host and guest, to Shelley's totally reinventing herself, giving back and going back to school to earn a master's degree in psychology, and becoming a pioneer in fertility work involving egg donors and surrogacy. And let's not forget Shelley's enduring devotion to her two children, Nicholas and Miranda. And I can't see anybody. Nicholas, Miranda, are you out there? Over there. Okay, welcome. And finally, we'll visit and relive some of the halcyon days when Michael and Shelley fell in love. So come along with me. We'll share some smiles and no doubt some tears together as we celebrate our Shelley. So to start our program, let's give a big welcome to Shelley's brother, Leigh Smith. We'll talk about early days in the family and growing up with Shelley. And Leigh, there you are. Great.
Little off script, great pictures. As Michael said, I'm Leigh Smith. I was lucky enough to be one of Shelley's brothers. She and I managed to stay connected to each other despite living on opposite coasts, and I believe our younger years and family experiences shaped both of us to crave family bonds that she and I strengthened over the decades. There were 4 of us kids, our brother Stephen and sister Sherry. Shelley was born in New Jersey, but the family moved to Memphis for our dad's work during Shelley's early adolescent years before I was born. When I was 4 and she was 11, the family moved back to New Jersey where she spent her teens. This was a time before helicopter parenting, and ours were not very hands-on. They loved each other until they didn't and then split up. The parenting light model they had, combined with the unhappiness of a broken home, descended upon all us kids, and later shaped us as adults to look for love, commitment, and kindness. I know that the Shelley you and I knew reflected each of those characteristics. Shelley's middle name was Baird. She was named after the all-girls high school she would later attend and graduate from New Jersey, as had our mom and other family members before her. She was an excellent student. I remember her speaking at her high school graduation, and she may have been valedictorian. Then she was off to Connecticut College. She was always smart, kind, compassionate, funny, clever. Some say she was beautiful, but she was my sister. I admit she was very pretty. But I do know that she was a beautiful person. Our mom, Margaret, was a gem, and a few years later married a great man who had 6 of his own kids. The picture of all of us that I believe is here somewhere from their wedding was the only time we were ever all together. As I remember the timing around then, Shelley was getting ready to graduate college, had applied and been accepted to the Peace Corps, but was discovered and told she should be a model. So she did that instead. Hello, world. When I was about 20, She had already been well on her way to a successful modeling career. We hadn't seen each other in a while. She was off in the world finding her own way, and we met up with our dad, a rare event. When it was my turn for the family update about what was going on with me, I told him about my dream of being a race car driver, and I already owned a small Formula car. I needed a better car. It wasn't expensive, but it was out of my reach at the time. She pulled out her checkbook, wrote me a check for $10,000 on the spot, insisted I take it and pay her back when I had it. No questions asked. She was only 27. She wanted me to live my dream. She was incredible to our mom, always, which included the last moment of our mother's life. Of course, Shelley was there, even though her own health made that journey nearly impossible. As I thought about my sister and her accomplishments and realized the many accolades she so deserved and I knew I was going to hear about today, I wondered what she wasn't good at. I came up with it. She was terrible at talking about herself. She was much more interested in asking you questions, paying attention, and asking more follow-up questions. Who does that? The best people. Miranda, Nicholas, your mom was incredibly proud of both of you. Every time she spoke of you to me, it was with hope, love, and confidence in you as people. Michael, I knew listening to Shelley the love and admiration she had for you. You were the love of her life. As her younger brother, I watched from the sidelines in awe of my big sister. From her modeling to acting to showing off her exquisite intelligence and wit to her incredible ability to blend her passion of helping others with a business acumen. I feel a lot of pride for my sister. Shelley listened, she cared, and she made things happen. Over the years, we found time. We could always find our family thread, taking the time we had to hear about each other's lives openly and honestly, and I will always feel her absence. If our stepdad, Jack McKenna, who was a really good man and had affectionate nicknames for all his kids who were here, he would say, "Rest in peace, Twiggy." Thank you.
Thank you, Leigh. Now moving on from childhood and growing up in a lovely family, I'm going to move on to her careers. And we'll start with, let me introduce Susie Blakely. Susie? Okay. And Susie, let me just introduce you. You are one of Shelley's long-term friends. And you were involved in the heady days of super elite modeling. So with that in mind, why don't you please come up and share some of your memories of those days. Thank you.
See you guys. I didn't realize it was going to be that. Hi, and thank you, Leigh. That was beautiful. You were so right. She never talked about herself. It was just an interesting thing. I'm sitting here with my friend Jan, who also was a close friend of Shelley's, and we were going, because it was difficult to get Shelley to talk about her own life, but she was always interested in what you were doing, and if you had any problems, boy, did she want to help. I'm glad at one point I did call her when she was a therapist about something, and I was just blown away by how not only caring that I knew she would be, but how smart she was and able to articulate exactly what I could do to help myself. Okay. I've been thinking about Shelley a lot, obviously, these last few days and preparing for today. And, well, it's been painful to know that I will never see her again. It's also brought back wonderful memories from our early days together. I'm going to share some of those with you today, but I want to start off by saying that the last chapters in Shelley's life were what meant the most to her. From her kids, who she adored so much and was so proud of, Miranda and Nick, and her wonderful marriage to Michael. I still remember when she called me and she'd met you, Michael, and she was just so elated. Her remarkable career in her egg donor and surrogacy practice, and all the people that she was able to help. And I'm sure there's probably some of you here who worked with her in her practice. And I just want to say that she mentioned to me so many times, not talking about herself, but this one thing, that in these last few years after she'd sold her practice, she talked a lot about how she missed you guys so much and that you'd meant so much to her. And it was like you guys were her second family. But I do feel very lucky that I got to know Shelley back then when she first came to New York to model. We got to do a few fabulous trips together. And from the first trip we did together in Rome for Italian Vogue in 1971, which there were a couple of pictures up here of, I knew that we would become good friends. We just clicked right away. But little did I know that we would be friends for over 50 years. When I met her back then in the early 70s, she already had all the wonderful qualities of the woman that many of you got to know much later. She was so beautiful, inside and out. I always said that she was angelic. She was one of the kindest people I've ever met. She was thoughtful and generous. She could be very serious, especially when, it mattered or it was about her work. But she was also fun. And she was smart. Really smart and well educated. She'd actually finished college before she started modeling, which was rare in those days. And it certainly came in handy later when she went on to get her master's degree in psychology. I thought, this is what I kind of remember thinking about her, that she was mature, sophisticated, cool, and fashionable, but very much down to earth. She was a straight shooter, no bullshit about anything ever. In all the years that I knew her. Even then, she didn't place that much importance on her beauty, except as a way to make money in a fun job. She was practical, disciplined, and organized. While I was living on Haagen-Dazs and Sara Lee, she was grocery shopping on Saturday, cooking on Sunday, and then organizing everything in Tupperware to put in the fridge for the rest of the week. This was something that I learned when I went over to her place after work one day to rehearse a scene for our acting class. She had gone to her bedroom to change clothes, and I was headed to the kitchen, and I yelled something like, "You got anything to eat?" And I guess I didn't hear her answer because I'll just never forget her face when she came out and saw me. I guess I was engulfing Tuesday's lunch. And I just remember being mortified and at the same time being really impressed that anyone was that organized and efficient. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. While I'm on the subject of our acting class, I have to tell you that contrary to anything Shelley may have told any of you, if she talked about her acting at all, she always kind of poo-pooed it. She was actually terrific. And I take some pride in that because I was the one that drug her to my first acting class. Not my first acting class, her first acting class. I told her at the very least, it'll help you get commercials, but you never know. You might want to do theater or film too. And as you all know, or I hope you know, that she went on to do a lot of TV work. 2 series and a lot of episodic guest parts. Her first series was a very smart comedy called The Associates, starring Martin Short, who you just saw. That was those scenes, which I love. And it was created by the best in the business, Jim Burrows, Stan Daniels, and Ed Weinberger. And then she did a dramatic series called Love and Honor. And if you ever get a chance to see any of them, which you just did see some of them, you will see that she was excellent, always authentic, besides being so beautiful that she just really lit up the screen. Sorry, I'm sorry, just 1 minute. Excuse me. I'd been to quite a few acting classes by that time because I went to New York with the goal of acting. But this particular acting class that she came with me to was quite special. It was taught by Warren Robertson. And Warren was brilliant and kind and taught us a lot more than acting. He opened us up emotionally and taught us who we really were and who we were capable of being. It was pretty much life-altering for all of us who were in that class, and we really bonded and became incredibly close over those years. I ran into my old friend Michael Ronan, who I talked to, who came. I didn't know he was coming from Texas today, who's here. I am so grateful that Shelley and I got to share that incredible experience. And then later when she came to LA, she studied with Milton Casellas, another highly respected acting teacher out here, which I ran into some students from that class too who came here today. Anyway, she definitely wasn't going to be shoddy in anything she did. She was going to study. One other little thing about Shelley back in the day, she was always up for anything, fun or serious. I mean, we both got each other involved with different things over the years. I was thinking on the way over here, I remember that we found these tins of Swiss crayons that I think they were hypoallergenic, and we mixed them with Elizabeth Arden's 8-hour cream. We melted them. And I was thinking, you know, with Shelley's business acumen, we could have been moguls. We didn't even know about branding or anything. But I'd totally forgotten that until I was driving over. At one point, I enlisted her in a group we called Models for McGovern. We were ushers at Madison Square Garden when George McGovern came there when he was running for president in 1972. And just a few years ago, when I called her to come to a fundraising theatrical reading of the Mueller report, she was one of the first people to say yes. I love that she was always ready to stand up for what she knew was right. And after we came to LA and had a little more time between gigs, she was always involving me with one thing or another. That, you know, she was always roping me into something. I remember one night she hired a sushi cook to come over and teach us how to make sushi. Sushi, tennis, softball, Pictionary, poker, charades. She did them all. She loved games and she was great at them. I knew she'd done a lot of the Dick Clark's pyramid shows, but I didn't know until my husband was helping Michael with her obituary that she did almost 200 of them. And I think that's probably some kind of record. She even talked me into doing it once, even though I had never seen the show, and probably any game show for that matter. I love the opportunity to make money for our charities, but of course I was more afraid that I wouldn't do well and feel like I lost money for them. But Shelley was so confident, she won me over. She taught me how to do it in about half an hour, and because she was brilliant at it, and because she was my partner, not my opponent, we actually won the $25,000 prize. We won for the Amanda Foundation and Amnesty International, I remember. She was amazing. Not just smart and knowledgeable, but quick. Quick, but calm, focused, and unflappable. I called her the champ. Last week, my husband looked online and found that special issue of Italian Vogue for the collections where we really got to know each other. She's on the cover, and that was the cover that you saw there. And there's a 53-page spread of us, which is enormous. It was the magazine weighed like the yellow pages. I hadn't seen any of the photos in years, except when Shelley had brought some of them to the production when we did the pyramid show. It's amazing, I always find, when you look back at photographs from a long time ago, you can be transported right back to that moment in time. And it just reminded me how much fun we had in Rome and how fabulous it was to work with her. She was good. It was like dancing with a partner you had danced with for years. Like everything Shelley did, she was a great model. She was beautiful, of course. Clothes looked fabulous on her because she was tall and slim, but it was more than that. She really knew how to move. She was very creative. She just knew how to make the clothes stand out and the photographs special. I will be forever grateful that Chris van Wagenheim, the highly acclaimed photographer who shot the spread, loved working with both of us so that we got to know each other and form this wonderful lifelong friendship. Sorry. Wherever I've lived, I've always had this framed snapshot from that trip of Shelley and I posing on a bridge over the Tiber River in Rome on our way back to the hotel in the early morning. They used to do the fashion shows for the collections during the day with the runway models. And in those days, a lot of people don't know this, None of the magazine girls did runway or vice versa. We didn't even know them. It all changed right about the time I left for acting. But in those, then after the shows, they would bring the designers' clothes over to the photographer's studio, and we would shoot all night and then head back to the hotel to try and sleep during the day. This picture that I love was taken on one of those mornings on our way back to the hotel. There were always these young Italian men going to work at that hour who would be whistling and yelling suggestive stuff at us that you didn't need to speak Italian to get the point. Those were different times. We didn't take offense. We were used to it from New York construction workers, for one thing. We would just laugh it off and, sometimes yell something back at them. I had learned this one phrase in Italian that I would throw out, "Hey, che cosa sta facendo?" Which meant, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" That's all I remember of my Italian. Anyway, one of them was happy to take this picture that I love with Shelley's long, long legs draped over the wall. One leg is just like going out like a mile, with her lace-up boots and her sexy short shorts, me wearing one of my vintage dresses from the 40s. I just remember talking her into going to get a pizza before we went back to the hotel because they smelled so good just coming out of the oven at 6 a.m. It might have been one of the few times that I was able to talk her into breaking her usual healthy diet. But she did, and we ate the whole thing, and it was delicious. Shelley never stopped working, even after she sold her practice, and even when her health was failing. She loved helping people, but I'm so grateful she had more time to hang out then, and that she really made an effort to reach out whenever she was up to it. We had many wonderful lunches with our mutual friend Jan McGill, who's here today. In fact, Jan shares a birthday with Shelley, October 25th. And she and I went to lunch a few weeks ago on their birthday at one of Shelley's favorite restaurants, Avra. And we raised a glass to our Shelley on her first heavenly birthday. I miss my dear friend every day. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shelley excelled at everything she did. She raised 2 amazing children that she was so proud of. She married the love of her life. She brought happiness to so many people. She was loved by everyone who knew her. I'm so sorry. What a wonderful legacy. What a life well lived. Rest in peace, my dear friend.
Thank you, Susie, for those heartfelt memories of your good friend. Throughout the early 1980s, Shelley made frequent appearances on the most popular TV game shows of the day.
From Television City in Hollywood, this is the $100,000 Pyramid. Today's special guests are Shelley Smith and, from my sister Sam, Joe Brooks. Your host is Dick Clark.
This is Chain Reaction, where one word leads to another, with today's special guest stars, Shelley Smith, Robert Mandan, Peggy Katz, Fred Brandy, and the star of Chain Reaction, Bill Cullen.
It's Password. It's Super Password. Our special guests this week, Shelley Smith and Richard Klein. Our special guests this week, Shelley Smith and Richard Klein. Shelley Smith and Richard Klein. Shelley Smith and Richard Klein. Our special guests this week, Shelley Smith and Richard Klein. And the star of Super Fast Words, Bert Convey.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Come on, Vinny. Come on, Richard. There you are. Hello, everybody. Hi, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason Graae.
Hi, everybody. I'm Richard Klein. I actually did not know Shelley Smith, but I got a hold of the copy of the guest list, and I thought this might be a really good career opportunity. So, thank you. I'm actually friends with Michael Maguire. I've known Michael since the 80s in New York City. That's a whole nother afternoon. And we sang at Carnegie Recital Hall, we sang at Town Hall, we sang at Alice Tully Hall, we sang at all the halls. We did a lot of recordings, and I was there when Michael made his Broadway debut in Les Mis and got a Tony Award. I know. So much. You can imagine that went over really big with the other guys in the Broadway community, but I'm not bitter. Michael and I both ended up in Los Angeles, as you can see, and I actually never got to meet Shelley, but every time that I saw Michael, he would talk about her, and I realized, wow, he really did meet the love of his life, and I was so happy for him. I got a call a few weeks ago from the producer of this memorial asking if I would take part in it, and I was thrilled. And he said, you know, we're going to do this whole game show tribute with the videos and all that kind of stuff, and we thought it'd be really fun if you would kind of come in and be the funny, cheesy game show host throughout the videos. And I thought, wow, to be the comic relief in a memorial, sign me up. Sounds like a career ender to me. But I was thrilled to get to be part of it. And now, let's welcome back Shelley Smith in round 2 of the game show videos.
Shelley Smith, I do think we need a little more time on the outfit. Just now that you're all comfy and seated, would you?
Well, I don't mind.
What is the outer thing made of?
Fabric.
So glad I asked.
This is all, I have to plug her. She's so clever. This California designer named Margie Kent, and I just think she's wonderful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
outstanding. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought it was some sort of special metallic something.
Yeah, it has something.
He slept for 20 years, then got up.
Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Go on. Well, Shelley, here's your first shot at the Mystery 7 on a possible car.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at. He slept for 20 years and then he got up. What did he look like? He
had a very long beard.
All right. That was so funny. We're going to take That Was a No-No.
That was a no-no. You're going for $25,000. You might want to try to do it quickly this time with a little extra effort because you could enter the Tournament of Champions. Here's your first subject. Go.
A bee.
Things that sting.
Flip me over in the morning, put Aunt Jemima syrup on.
Pancakes, what a pancake would say.
In the tub, in the shower.
Where you bathe.
In the rain.
Where you get wet.
Certain jewelry.
Things that are gold, silver.
Yes. A picture.
Things you frame.
The paper.
Things on the wall.
Yes. A virgin.
Things that.
A child.
Things that are innocent.
I didn't know this is suede. That's beautiful.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. You can clean your car with this stuff, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't though, unless it's red.
How?
Wolf. Yes. Welcome to Super Password, and it is super today because look at these two charming people we have up here. It's going to be a super week, as a matter of fact. Welcome to Richard and to Shelley.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. What are you doing? You're standing in a little box down there.
Yes, they put me in my place. I walk out.
Tall.
Wow. I like them tall, don't you, Richard?
Yes, and blonde.
Yes, you bet. I haven't seen you for a while. We had dinner one night. Not together. I mean, you were with.
You want me to
I was with someone, and we were. No, I'm catching up here. Would you?
Okay,
wait a minute.
sorry.
And so now, and you're doing something. Someone told me that you've done something recently that we should know about.
Well, I just did a pilot for Norman Lear, who I'm sure everybody knows, and it's called All Over the Place, and we're hoping it'll sell. It's a terrific idea.
Oh, wait a minute. I know about this.
Do you?
Martin Mull.
Producing it,
He was here the other day, and he told me about it. Oh, that's great. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And good luck here today.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, you're a pro. You won't have any problem. What a nice group you are. It's nice to have you all with us. It's fun to do this. You know, I know you all out there play the game as I do. We're all trying to get the answers, and you two are very good at it, I must say. Richard and Shelley, you play this game very well.
You know, this is our first time.
Yeah.
Neither one of you have ever done the show before.
We were both a little nervous yesterday, but I think it's better today.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. But, but you play it very well, and here's your partners who also play well, as a matter of fact. Let's bring them in, shall we do that?
Pen, pencil.
Q.
Patchwork, quilt.
R.
Farm, ranch.
S.
Settee, couch, seat, sofa.
T.
Raspberry tart.
O.
Cow, oak, or bull, bison.
You gave us every possible description.
Was something better? I don't know.
Too bad. Please welcome back Jason Graae.
Oh, gosh. Those are just amazing. Those game show videos, I just can't get enough of them. A couple things I'd like to discuss. First of all, that dress, that out of space dress, it's on crack. That really, I'm just not sure she could wear that today, but that dress was something else. The other thing that I just loved Shelley so much for was outing Bert Convy for standing on that box. That was amazing, and that could not have been part of, like, the plan. I doubt that was in the script or anything. I just think she was just talking off the top of her head, and he had no choice but to go with it. It was amazing. He's a little guy. And she stood up, and she still was 2 feet taller than him, even when he was standing on the box. I'm not short-shaming him. I'm in no position to do that. But oh, my God, I loved her for that. And then, and then when he was kind of spending a little too much time on her red suede jacket, I don't know if that would play today. I'm not really sure, but she handled it, of course, beautifully. So, I was looking at all these videos. I was Googling Shelley, and I was looking at all of her game show videos, and I just became so enamored with her and her brain. Of course, her beauty, but my God, her brain and her wit and her savvy. She was pretty unflappable on those things, which can be very awkward. I'm sure Richard Klein just hated her, because he stole all her thunder. But she just was so good, and I just was so taken by her. And I got a little nervous because I was trying to find some backstory and some, fun, personal views of Shelley in the game show world and all that. And I couldn't find anything, and I called our producer, Clifford, and I said, what can I do about this? And he said, call Susan Blakely. You're going to love her. Call her, she'll know. So I called Susan, and we talked for an hour and 20 minutes, and I do love her. And we did, didn't we? And we talked about everything under the sun except for Shelley on the game shows. And at the end of the talk, Susan said, I really only have like one story about the game show, but I'm using it, so good luck. And we hung up. Anyway, but I'm very honored and very grateful to be here, and I thought this might be a really nice time to plug that Jerry and I have a show at the Old Portal in the smaller theater on December 2nd, and unfortunately that's the night that Audra McDonald's going to be at the Amundsen, so good luck to us. Part 3 of the game show.
Password. It's Super Password and the finals of our Tournament of Champions. Our guest stars, Shelley Smith and Dick Gautier. Our special guest this week, Shelley Smith, and from Aftermath, Jamie Farr.
What a nice group. Thank you so much and welcome to Super Passport. It is indeed nice to have you with us. This is our last day with Shelley and Richard. Oh, yeah.
And what a week it's been, too.
Yes, we're going to miss you. You both are such snappy dressers, and you both play this game really very, very, very well.
We had a good time. I had a great time.
Did you have a good time?
Loved it.
Well, you did well. It's always good when you do well and have a good time as well, too.
Yeah.
I mean, over there you did great, Shelley.
Well,
you did great over there as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you were here. You should come back. Do you think you will?
I'd love to if I'm asked. If I didn't behave too
if
badly.
the money's right, I'm here.
Hey, okay, big guy.
First subject. Go.
The Colosseum.
Things in Rome, things in Italy.
Let's go make some moonshine.
What hillbillies say.
A mosquito bite.
Things that itch, things that bite, things that touch you.
The tilt button.
Things on a what's that called? A pinball machine.
Thank you so much. Your husband.
Things you love, things you cherish, things you admire, things you love,
Your
things you
children.
hate, things you
Your children.
are charming, things enduring, things you love, things enduring, things endearing.
A soap opera.
Things make you cry, things are dramatic.
Book segments.
Book segments, things you
A
read,
soap
things that come in
opera.
portions, things
A
that come
soap
in
opera.
things that come in segments, things that are continuing, things that are
Yes. Clues. A spyglass.
Things in a mystery. Things that a detective would
Yes,
use.
good. Certain metals, gems, your sweetheart.
Things that they make jewelry out of. Things in
Certain
a
gems,
locket.
your sweetheart, your lover.
Things you get on Valentine's
Your
Day.
adorable child.
Things you love. Things
Certain metals, expensive metals.
Things that are precious.
Yes.
Here is your first subject. Go.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
Things in San Francisco.
Liberty, De Milo.
Famous statues.
Yes. Because it's your birthday, because it's Christmas.
Why you celebrate? Why you have a party?
Because you like to
Why you
wrap
give
it.
gifts?
Right. A helium balloon.
Things that rise.
Yes. Time, old wood.
Things that
Wet wood.
decay.
Wet wood. Time.
that are
Certain
full.
minds, crazy minds, idiotic minds.
Things that are empty. Things that pass.
Pass it.
Next.
The law.
Things you obey. Things that are strict.
Police laws. Police agencies. The law.
Things you enforce.
Yes, okay. Wet wood. Curved
things
wood.
that are
Curved
soaked.
wet wood.
Things that warp.
Please welcome back the Honorable Michael Levanas.
Boy, was that fun. I'm telling you. What I know from that is I'm going to go to that show, Mr. Graae. When is it? December 2nd. Okay. And the other thing I learned from that is I'm going to quit my day job to watch daytime game shows. That was fun. Thank you so much. And a big thanks again to Gerald Sternbach for the music. Joining us next, going on to what is really a change in Shelley's life, going into business and working in the field of fertility. And next up is going to be Alex Marone and Shoshannah Langlois from the Hatch team. Alex is the director of aid donations, and Shoshannah is the director of surrogacy intake. And they both learned under the mentorship of Shelley, and that they're honored to be here to share Shelley's story and what she meant not only to them, but to the thousands of families around the world that benefited from Shelley's work. So please help me warmly welcome Alex Marron and Shoshannah and Alex. And my apologies for wrecking your last name.
It was actually good.
Goes down just a little bit. Here we go. Nope. Stand up very straight. So Alex and I are deeply honored to get to speak about Shelley and what she built and how deeply and profoundly she impacted our lives. I'm honestly not sure how to even begin to do Shelley justice. She was larger than life, but grounded and humble, and she was a mentor, a boss, a friend, a partner in crime, and a confidant, and she has a permanent space in our hearts.
Shelley started the very first egg donor program, thus introducing this option as an actual service to so many people that needed it. At a time where these subjects were still considered taboo, she also led one of the first surrogacy programs. We want everyone to sit with this for a moment. Just think of that as a thought. She saw what the options were in her own fertility journey, and she wanted to do something that had never been done before to honor the memory of her firstborn child who passed, so that others may have a chance to becoming parents. That in itself speaks loudly to the depths of her empathy. Her legacy is beyond measure. Thousands upon thousands of families will continue on for generations because of her vision and courage to do something against all odds. And we all had the honor of learning under her mentorship.
I first met Shelley in the summer of 2009. I had decided to pursue becoming a gestational surrogate, and I applied actually to quite a few programs, but I fell in love with the agency that we know today as Hatch. And the first person I spoke to at that facility was actually my dear Alex right here, and my next call was with Shelley. And I was not a perfect applicant. I was only 21 at the time when I applied, which is unusual, and don't worry, I did get older. I had no idea how any of it was going to work. So she had me come to her office to complete my psychological screening. So as a surrogate, you go through a lot of hoops to be able to do that for somebody else. And she was so warm, and she was so welcoming, and she felt like family from the first interaction. And I felt that the passion she had for helping others. I remember being in complete awe of her. She built something that wasn't, because she dreamed of a reality where parenthood could be achievable for people who had exhausted their options. I remember all the times in my first surrogacy journey that she was there. She was there for the introduction to the parents that I was going to help, my embryo transfer procedure, the heartbeat ultrasound. She came to my prenatal appointments. She came to the hospital after I delivered. And she called surrogates angels. That was what she always likened them to. But she was that conduit for making miracles possible by making the most incredible connections between surrogates and intended parents who would share those beautiful journeys together. And with her help, I completed 4 journeys and helped 4 families myself as a surrogate. So after I delivered an adorable 8-pound baby boy, she took me out to lunch to celebrate. And I sat across from the table, and I asked her to consider hiring me to work at the agency when they had future openings. And that same month, she reached out, and she'd offered me some contractor work to help with surrogate screening and project managing for her website development. And she gave me a few job offers over the next year or two while I did that part-time work. But I was on a career path at a tech company, and I was really afraid of taking the risk and changing careers. When I welcomed my own second child, something just had changed in me. And I knew the career that I wanted was at the agency, and I was willing to take that risk and jump in with both feet to follow her. And the rest is history. I can measure it in every early morning conversation. We were the first people in the house every morning, me and Shelley, before anyone got there. And some mornings were so joyous, and some were very sad, and some were so funny we would laugh until we cried. And she taught me to approach life from a place of not knowing and to keep an open heart and mind to learning.
I met Shelley where things were difficult. It was around the time, 2008, the recession was going on. The company I worked for completely dissolved, and I found this job posting to be an executive assistant, and I went for it. And when I went to the interview, I remember vividly I met Shelley, and I just see this beautiful blonde woman. And I knew that she had to be a model at some point. And it really kind of reminded me of my own mom. She was a model as well, if she is still. And, you know, her posture and demeanor were so classy. She was soft but strong, determined, direct. Shelley was clearly super intelligent. She knew what she wanted and how it should be executed. She had a way of making you feel very nervous and like a little girl at times. She commanded the room and never minced words. She said what she meant and meant what she said, always. And for that, I have endless respect for her. Needless to say, I was so happy when she called me back to offer me the position. I didn't know at the time what a profound impact she would have in my life, both professionally and personally. One thing about her is that she was always willing to take a chance on someone. She had an uncanny gift to find the best in people and tap into their potential. She eventually became like a second mother figure, especially as my own mom lived so far. She always gave me that mom energy. Hence I started to refer to her around the office as Mom, and it quickly caught on. I felt very connected to her as well, with her modeling background, being that my mom was also a model, and it was just really fun when my mom would send me pictures of Shelley's modeling days, and Shelley maybe didn't see that picture before, and it was just really nice to have that little connection between my moms. And my mom knew that Shelley really took care of me, and I'm not going to divulge, but she took care of me in very personal ways in times that were difficult, like I think she did for so many people. I have a very cherished memory of both of them meeting finally for the first time and having lunch together, and I have a picture of them together that I cherish. I remember all of the adventures, the brainstorm sessions, you know, being her right hand, her assistant, her friend, seeing her two beautiful kids grow up in front of my eyes. It's something that I will always treasure. And I adore you guys so much. And she adored you guys so much. The passion she had for her work and her mission, not many in the world have done what she's done and impacted so many in the way that she has. And I know she always referred to others as angels, and rightfully so. But she was the biggest and brightest of them all.
Alex and I worked very hard to choose some of the choice memories to share with you all today, because there are more than we could possibly share. But we want to remember all the facets of Shelley, who she was to us and to others. And some of you may already know that Shelley had an incredible sense of humor, and she could be insanely funny. The best part was when she was being funny, she always cracked herself up as well. So I'll have Alex kick this one off with one of our favorite stories.
So, I mean, I have so many funny stories. Truly, her humor was the best. And you wouldn't know it because she's just, you know, such a classy lady, but she could get raunchy just like the rest of us, which I loved. But she was always tasteful, you know, and she loved having fun, even pranking. So, I somehow always have this little bit of a Al Bundy luck. So pretty much like I'm a member of the Who's Luck Club, which means that if something is going to go wrong, it'll probably go wrong when I'm involved. So I remember one year she started doing this, I think it's called the White Elephant game.
She called it good gift, bad gift, because in White Elephant there's only bad gifts, but this had good gifts and bad gifts.
Right.
You didn't know what you would get.
There you go. See, she always wanted to make sure you had something nice. So that year I said, okay, well, I'm going to find something good. And of course, I go to the grocery store and I see this jar of pickled pig's feet. No judgment if you like pickles. pig's feet. Not my thing. But I thought, this is perfect. I'm going to take this, I'm going to wrap it up. It's going to be beautiful. And one of the girls will pick it. Perfect.
It was wrapped beautifully.
So, of course, the day comes, we're all sitting around the table, all the gifts are just piled on the table, and I see Shelley, it's Shelley's turn, and I see her reaching towards this jar of pickled pig's feet, and I am just like, oh God, no, not Shelley, anyone but Shelley, please, no. And of course, she goes and takes that jar of pickled pig's feet, and she, unwraps it. She's excited, and she opens it, and she's just trying to understand what the heck she's holding. And, my heart is pounding. I'm sweating a little bit. I'm just awkward smile. One coworker that knew what I had, she's looking at me like, of course, then whose luck? Yeah. So she opens it, she realizes what it is, and she starts cracking up. I mean, Shelley she got it instantly, and
she even acted excited about it for a minute.
She really did for a second, and I was just so relieved. And I know it's such a simple story, but it just goes to show that, I just love how she just gets in the trenches with you, and she's never above you. She's right there with you, and she could have fun with you. And I will treasure that little story for forever.
She got back at us. We didn't write this one down in the script, but she took that same jar and she made, we had a surrogate at the time who'd said they were going to consume the placenta, which is a thing. People don't know better than people.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So they said they were going to make a smoothie. So Shelley's bad gift that year, she'd taken the jar and she'd put in, God only knows what she put in there to make it look like a placenta smoothie, but we really thought it was.
That's Shelley.
I don't remember who opened it, but man, it was great. So my story to share, actually, it's got a bit of a sad start, but it gets better. So in my second surrogacy journey, we found out at 14 weeks that sadly the baby boy I was carrying did not have a heartbeat any longer. It was devastating. And for a while, it really broke me and it challenged my worldview, and I couldn't really reason away the pain. I couldn't fix it. The world just kind of stopped spinning for a bit, and I had to return to my workplace, which was all about babies, so it made it particularly challenging. But Shelley was there for me, and she knew my pain without me even having to vocalize it. She knew exactly what to say, what not to say, and she helped me figure out a way to get kind of back to life and create meaning out of that tragedy by helping other people. And when I felt brave enough to try again, she was my biggest cheerleader. So in order to be cleared again as a surrogate after that experience, I had to undergo a hysteroscopy. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, that's when they put you under anesthesia and they look at your uterus on a big screen with a camera. And it gives a whole new meaning to the word selfie. In fact, a lot of people that I've worked with have seen my internal organs, which is peculiar. But I woke up from anesthesia, and the doctor told me he had found and removed a polyp, no big deal. But then he said he'd found some really unusual findings, and he'd taken pictures of what he found. And I really wish I would have been able to locate, because I kept them, the stack of pictures that was displayed to me. But you're going to have to take my word for it. So the first picture was a wrench, great for fixing things, makes sense, a lemon bar, and Shelley and I had a guilty pleasure for those, fondly enjoyed them. Also, justifiable. An owl, I believe our coworker CJ picked that one because I liked owls. Really weird place to store a bird. But my personal favorite was a picture of my first IVF doctor, Dr. Sahakian, who thankfully has a really good sense of humor. So if he hears this story, he won't mind that that's, where he was discovered. But the doctor, he told me most people put those things in better locations, and I was still under anesthesia and probably high as a kite. So for a few moments, I was convinced that was accurate and pretty horrified. He did a really good job staying in character. And, Shelley, of course, she had orchestrated that entire thing, that prank, with help. She had some co-conspirators, not going to name any names, Alex, but she made me laugh at a time that I really needed it.
I have a lot of personal moments that, honestly, I will keep in my heart in private. I spent time with her at different stages and have adopted her kids as my niece and nephew. We're always going to have Auntie Al here, always. I'm so grateful to have spent some time with her in her last months and being there on the last days, to hold her hand and talk to her and just be close to her, honestly. I know she was a very private person, and she would never want anyone to see her struggling or in pain. But she let me in those moments that were fragile and vulnerable. And the love that I have for this woman is beyond measure. And I am forever indebted to her for putting me in the path of such amazing colleagues. And a lot of them are here, and which are now family to me. And yeah.
I'm so grateful that Shelley united me with my work family, as we call it. And my dearest Alex here was able to help me get a chance to say goodbye because I couldn't make it out in time from the Central Coast. But as Alex said, she was very private, so few people saw her vulnerable moments. She was as formidable as she was deeply empathetic and warm, and I will always love, respect, and admire her fiercely. She was my hero. I was recently helping to edit some of the text written for this occasion. And in describing Shelley's legacy, I was trying to come up with the right word, and the first thing that came to mind was never ending. But when Shelley and I used to work together on writing projects, whether it was website content, advertising, emails, anything, we worked on a lot of projects together. She shared a love of using the thesaurus. So everything was put beautifully and never repetitive. Couldn't have the same words close together, not even in the same paragraph. We would first just come up with synonyms off the top of our head, just shouting kind of back and forth to each other till we found one that sticked and sounded good. But if we didn't land on the right one doing that, then we'd Google the free online thesaurus, and it served us well. So when never ending didn't fit perfectly, I opened up the online thesaurus, and it reminded me of those countless memories sitting together, side by side, typing away, always loving the result of our minds together, what we could make. And this time it was just me and the thesaurus. And I knew in that moment that as she was looking down on me, that she would have loved that I tried to find a bigger word, a better word, a word I could feel was worthy of describing her impact on others in my life. And I'm really sad to report I did not find a better word. There really aren't any words big enough that capture her spirit. She didn't find out until our farewell dinner when she retired from leading Hatch that our whole team called her Mom. When she found that out, though, she was just so deeply moved by it, and she loved it. She is irreplaceable to us. Hatch is what it is today because she dreamed it. She mentored us. She prepared each of us to preserve her legacy when her watch was over. And she will be missed forever. We miss our fearless leader, our friend, our confidant, our mentor, our hero, and our work mom. She's a legend, and we are going to strive to make her proud by continuing her story of making families possible.
We could clearly talk about Shelley infinitely and never run out of stories, and I'm sure I'll look back and think, I wish I would have said this or would have said that. But the show must go on, so we would like to leave everyone with this. Shelley made the impossible possible. She healed broken hearts. She walked alongside friends, family, and clients on their hardest paths. She held the people she loved dear and celebrated with them on their best days and grieved with them on their hardest days. Her memory will live on forever in the people who were lucky enough to know her. I know I speak for all of us when I say that we will carry on her important legacy and try our very best to do her legacy justice for as long as we are here. We miss you so much, Mom.
I'd like to introduce you to our musical director, Gerald Sternbach, and please welcome Julie Garnye.
So this is the tale my mother told me, a tale that was much too dull to hold me, and this is the surge and the rush she said would show. Our story goes on. Oh, I was young, I forgot how things outlive me. My goal was the kick that life would give me. But now, like a joke, something moves to let me know our story goes on. mother's mother felt, and hers before the chain of life begun upon the shore of some dark sea that reached to me. And now I can see the chain extending. My child is next in a line that has no ending. And here am I feeling life that her child will feel when I'm long gone. And thus it is our story goes on and 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 and all these things I feel and more. My mother's mother felt, and hers before the chain of life begun upon the shore of some primordial sea that stretched through time to reach to me. And now I can see the chain extending. My child is next in a line that has no ending. And here am I feeling life that her child will feel when I'm long gone. Yes, all that was is part of me, as I am part of what's to be. And thus it is our story goes on and on and on and
Well, first of all, let me ask Miss Garnye to come back up. I just want to say thank you for that stunning musical tribute and to the infinite goodness of Shelley's work. Thank you so much. And I'd also like to get back to Shoshannah and Alex and again, thank them for continuing the work that Shelley was so passionate about and brings so much goodness into the world in your Hatch program. So please, another hand for Alex and Shoshannah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is another close friend of Michael and Shelley's, and guess what? Also happens to be an acclaimed vocalist. So please welcome Billy Valentine.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I thank for words. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, a bright blessed day, oh, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I've watched them grow. They'll learn so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I've watched them grow. They'll learn so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you so much, Billy. Shelley saw the world as wonderful, but she didn't stop there. She wanted everybody to feel that joy. So thank you again, Billy, for bringing that to our hearts. Next, I'd like to have everyone welcome Shelley's son, Nathan, who will share some thoughts about himself and his sister, Miranda. They're twins, and I think they sit next to each other. They do everything together. And so let me bring you up Nicholas to give us some thoughts about growing up as a son.
I just want to thank all you guys for being here, supporting me, my sister, my stepfather, Michael. It means a lot. It's hard to find what words to say right now, honestly, so I'm going to keep this very brief. We've heard a lot of different words to describe my mom tonight, whether it's an actress, model, friend, coworker, boss. But to me, she was just my mom. And I just wanted to share a little about her as a mom and being a mom with all of you. For those that you didn't know her professionally, she was the hardest working woman I've ever met in my life. and I wish I had half of her work ethic. She never stopped helping people, and we all see that in the egg donation program and everything she does in her life. And even when we did take vacations or rarely got her to go out with dinner or anything, she would be on her phone most of the time, checking with her company, calling Alex. And after she sold her company, she went back to doing therapy and helping people over Zoom, even though she couldn't get out of the house too much given her health. And part of that was because she just genuinely loved helping people, and she was the type of person that needed to stay busy and couldn't ever stop doing it. But as I've gotten older, and especially now that she's gone, I really realized that everything she did was just for my sister and I, to try to put us in the best situation that she could. Whether it was sending us to one of the best private schools in Los Angeles or being there and supporting us emotionally, she never wanted to be successful for personal gain or to buy a new car or a bigger house or anything. She just wanted to provide for my sister and I, literally up until the week she passed away. And, you know, I wish I could thank her now for all the things she did for us. I definitely did throughout my life, but it's hard having that perspective as a child, you know, with a parent. You don't truly appreciate the things they do until you start to grow up. And I love and I miss her so, so much every day. And I, just want to celebrate her and try to make her happy in every way I can. And I, again, just thank you all for being here. Thank you, guys.
Time and again I've longed for adventure, something to make my heart beat the faster. What did I long for? I never really knew. Finding your love, I found my adventure. Touching your hand, my heart beats the faster. All that I want in all of this world is you. You are the promised kiss of springtime that makes the lonely winter seem long. You are the breathless hush of evening that trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star. The dearest things I know are what you are. And someday my happy arms will hold you, and someday I'll know that moment divine when all the things you
For all of you that don't know, that I sang that, and Michael's going to take credit for those songs, but I actually did that. It's no wonder you won the Tony. Michael Maguire, a charming guy, a sweet soul, and he's a man of many talents. A Wall Street whiz kid broker, at least that's what he told me. A developer of historical registry homes, and as we all know, a Tony Award winner for his role in Les Mis. And then, why not, he just decided to become a lawyer. And he turned out to be a damn good lawyer. But regardless of all of his successes, his biggest achievement in life was getting Shelley to fall in love with him. Michael flat out adored Shelley. Ladies and gentlemen, your friend and mine, Michael Maguire.
Wow. It's all this stuff down here. I had a double hip surgery 2 weeks ago, and I almost fell right there. So this will be exciting to see if I can stand up. First, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today and for taking the time to focus on the life of this beautiful, wonderful person who touched everyone that she met and had an impact that will last for decades in the form of all the children that she helped bring into this world and all the people she's touched. And among those people that she's touched and helped so much was me. I became a tremendously better person than I ever would have been had I not known Shelley. She was so classy and funny and knew how to help rein in my poor taste and bad sense of humor. And she was great at that, you know. She'd just give you the eye and, okay, I won't do that again. And she was like that at work, too. I actually worked for her for a little while. It was a nightmare. She was tough, man. And when she got mad at you, you know, if you didn't do something fast enough, it was like, oh, that's okay, I'll do it myself. And, whoa, okay, I'll never do that again. So she was but just looking back on that stuff, it's just glorious. And like Nick said a few minutes ago, it's tough when you're with someone who's so wonderful because you take it for granted. I took it for granted in so many ways. She was such a beautiful person inside. I rarely thought about how beautiful she was on the outside. That sounds kind of silly, you know, but every once in a while she'd laugh and I'd just go, oh my God, she's gorgeous. Who is this? And she was the person that loved me and cared for me. And even with this hip surgery, I was thinking just the other day, you know, I've sort of, I'm pushing it and the doctors are saying, don't get up and don't do this and don't do that. And I'm going, don't tell me what to do. But I think about what would it be like if Shelley was home when I did this surgery. Because I'd be laying in bed watching zombie movies and she'd be bringing me stuff to eat. It'd be great. And you know, among the things that she was, Susie touched on it briefly, but she was a gourmet cook. And every single day when I came home, we had a gourmet meal. It was unbelievable. I'm eating meatloaf now, you know, from Trader Joe's. It's not the same anymore. And it's wonderful, and I just hope that everybody can walk away from today. The purpose of today is to pay tribute to what someone did with their life from beginning to end. I was just a part of Shelley's life. I was there at the last part of her life. I didn't have the opportunity to know her when she was doing her game shows, and she was Miss Snappy and this gorgeous model, and everything's flowing her way. You know, I went through my own little brief experience of that, and being in show business, we had a lot in common in that sense. We'd both been in show business. We'd succeeded to varying degrees, her far more than me, but I had some success and I understood what it felt like. And we both made this transition in our lives to try to find a way to take the pain that we had suffered. In her case, it was the pain of losing her first child, and turning that pain, and for me it was a very unpleasant divorce. And we both took that pain and tried to turn it to the positive. In her case, she started this glorious agency and helped thousands of people have children they never would have had. For me, it was to become a divorce attorney and see how much money I could take from people. I'm just kidding, that's not what I do. What I try to do is help people make that transition as quickly as possible and get it over with and get back on your life and live your life again. And she respected what I did. I certainly adored what she did. And I was always privileged because I loved whenever there was somebody who was having a baby, if they were within 400 or 500 miles, she would drive there to be there when that baby popped out. And what do you call it when a baby comes out? And but she was just thrilled every single time. She lived every moment and was just so happy to share that joy with somebody, and just to watch her and her smile and her love for people. It was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. Going back to the gourmet cook thing, you know, I was looking in the refrigerator this morning because I was doing some ice packs for my hips. And there's 2 shelves in the refrigerator and the freezer that are filled with these little sauces that she would make. And I don't know what to do with them because she didn't put labels on them. So I don't know, you know, some white ones and there's some brown ones, and some of them have stuff in them, some of them are all liquid, and it's kind of scary. But I guess I don't know what to do. I'm just going to leave them there, I guess, for a while. I'm afraid to thaw them out and stick them on something. But anyway, I loved her. I loved her from the very first day. And we had a great marriage. And every single day was beautiful. And I couldn't wait to drive home and see her. And she couldn't wait for me to come home to see her or to see me. And it was out of this world. And I feel lucky that even though I was just a part of her life, a part of this glorious life she's led, that I was there for her, and the way she took in my children when we got married, the way I care for Nikki and Miranda and their father, Reed, who's here today. I care for all those people, and I hope that all of you can do something that Shelley did so effortlessly, which is to take a minute and close your eyes and think, who do you hold a grudge against? Who makes you upset? Who makes you angry? And let it go. Because she didn't have a mean bone in her body. She loved everybody, and she would sacrifice herself for anybody at any time. And she did something to help each person that she touched, no matter who it was. Anyway, you guys are all great for being here. And I could thank you all by name. There's not time to do that. But I thank all my friends who came from out of town. I thank all my friends who came here from in town. I thank all the people that love Shelley, her brothers who are both here. It's just glorious that everybody came to celebrate the life that this woman had. We'd be lucky to have half of what she did. You know, we're all dealt cards. When you're born born poor, or you're born in Africa, you're born with beauty, or you're born with wealth. I mean, what do you do with the cards that you've been dealt? And I don't know anybody who did more with the cards that she was dealt than Shelley. And speaking of cards, she was quite a sharp card player. And we would play gin. We'd have a running game of gin going every week. And we would start, usually on Tuesday. For some reason, we took Mondays off. Start on Tuesday. We'd play gin all week long. She'd keep score meticulously. She would kick my ass every single week. And she wanted her $10 at the end of the week. And if I didn't so of course I gave her a bunch of ones, but she didn't care. She just loved it. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for taking a few minutes to pay tribute to some of the wonderful things that Shelley's done, and for taking the time out of your busy lives to focus on someone who I think made a big difference in the world. Thanks.
Please welcome back Gerald Sternbach and Jason Graae.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's bright and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Please, everybody, wander into the lobby for drinks and food, and let's continue to celebrate. Thank you so much for coming.
You can do what you want, just seize that day. What you're doing tomorrow's